Hello there, this is a tutorial for ripping models from Pokémon X and Y. Since I was looking for models on VG resources but I couldn't find them, so I just thought I'd make a tutorial on how you can rip them from the games themselves. So I'm hoping to spare you some trouble from figuring it all out on your own, since I found it a bit of a cumbersome process. Now, we'll need a few programs for this. We'll need PK3DS, which is actually a Pokemon randomizer, but we'll be using it to unpack all the game's files. And then we'll be using Ohana 3DS to view and export the models. We can download PK3DS from Project Pokemon. I'll leave all the download links in the description. So we'll download the latest version. You'll want to click on the top one, then there will be 2 published, 1 consumed down here, and we'll just download Artifact. And it should work right out of the box. And then we'll also need Ohana 3DS. There's 2 versions of this. There's one called Rebirth and there's an old version. I'll be using both since the old one has a really neat function where you can scroll through files, which the new one does not. There's loads of other tutorials on how you can dump your own ROMs or game files. I've got mine here already. What we want to do is you want in PK3DS, we'll go to Tools and then Extract. In this case I've got a .3ds file, and we'll need to make a folder to where it will extract all those files. So I'll just make one quickly, and it'll just take a little bit to load, so I'll continue when that's done. Now that PK3DS is finished, we can dig into our files, and it should look like this. And then the folder we're interested in is ROMFS and then A. I'll be exporting some of the map models. I already know those are in 0, 1, 3. So the pastebin I showed notes what these contain, but when we open this one, which we'll do by dragging it into PK3DS, unpacking the subfiles, and then opening it up, we can see that there's even more files in here. And the pastebin doesn't tell you what these are, but I've looked through a bunch of them, so I already know that number 16 contains some of the Pokemon League stuff, so drag this one into PK3DS again, and it'll unpack that for us. And then the actual geometry is in these 2. When you drag most of these into PK3DS, it will look like this. These may contain geometry data, I don't know, because I can't actually open these with Ohana, so if you know how that works, good for you, but I don't. So for all I'm concerned, the only ones with actual models in them are the ones that contain these files, and I've noted that in the text document as well. So to open this one now, we'll open our model viewer. We'll click the first one, open it up, and there is our model. To get the textures, we'll go back to this folder and then click the one with the corresponding number, so in this case 16, and there we go. The neat thing about Ohana is that it can also export models. I'll just make a little folder where I can put those. And then what we can do is just export them. So I also want the other half, because there's another one in here. And there we go, we have our file. Now, not all of the map models are actually stored in 013. They're a bit all over the place. There's actually a lot more stuff in 024. So 021 contains NPC models, 024 contains a whole bunch of map objects, and A165 contains even more stuff. I don't know what all of this is, because this one has over 700 models in them. For another example, if this one works a bit differently, we'll use the old Ohana because it has a really neat feature where you can scroll through models. In this instance, the models are actually just stored in these bin files, and if you press the arrow keys on your keyboard, you can cycle through all of them. And I believe Prism Tower is in one of these, which it won't open for some reason. That's a bummer. Ah, there we go. Oh, it's 689, that's why. You can also scroll through the model files in the NPCs folder, which is nice, but for 013 that doesn't work, unfortunately. Right, so now we've got our model, and I can just import it into Blender, and we exported them as DAE files, so those will be in here. Now it won't come with its textures on, so you just have to apply those manually. It will have materials already, and there we go. Now one thing you may have noticed that Even when there's no textures applied, you'll see that there are colors, and we can view those in Blender as well by adding a color attribute node. Now you can do with your model whatever you like. I hope this is somewhat, I mean it's a fairly niche tutorial, but maybe someone will find it useful.